Hi,
Hello there. Hello.
how are you?
Oh, I'm splendid. I'm splendidly well. Today has been wonderful. Yeah.
So good. Yeah, same here. Lots of movement, lots of fun activities happening, creation. Yeah, a lot of fun stuff.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So much fun. And we just opened up. We're in a portal. Last night you were with the Center for Higher what was it again?
Yeah, I do some workshops at the Center for the Higher Self
The Higher Self. Yes. Yes.
here in Miami.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been lovely. They had this festival yesterday, and the talent, the music was incredible. The speakers were great. Yeah, it was a lot of
It
fun.
looked incredible. It looked
Yeah.
incredible. That was a whole vibe. Yeah. How was it like being in that vibration?
I work with plant medicine a lot, so I feel like I have been vibrating and also like really sadhana, right, for years of just like finding the places where the spaciousness, when there's space, it's just like inner space. I think that's what it is. It's just like where there's just like an energy of playfulness. And I
Mhm.
love being in that, right? I feel like for whenever I work with somebody and they want to really take their life to the next level. I'm like, you got to find a practice, and it's hard
Mhm.
in the beginning, but then it's just like you want it, right? And so it felt like yesterday being in that space, just like yeah, like when you're really enjoying your practice, because
Mhm.
everybody in that space is just like at that spacious vibration, and you're just like, yeah, I see you, you know. So yeah, it felt great.
Yeah. Wow, Sandra, so you were working with plant medicine amongst the people, like in the crowd?
No, I have been. It's just like the community and the music and the people who are performing are people who do, make music for plant medicine
Mm.
and are instrumental music. So it sends you into that space. I don't
Yeah,
know. Feel like it just kind of stores in your body. It's kind
yeah.
of gets stored in your body and also like places of beautiful nature, moments of truth. It just kind of
Mhm.
like, align. Really physically, what I feel is like alignment of my spine. You know.
Mhm. Mhm. Definitely, definitely, and what a time to be aligned. What was significant for you about the 2222? Like what does it mean
Yeah.
for you?
So in my meditation, and I wished I would have had time yesterday because I wanted to come in to to my people, to my tribe, and actually just share what I was experiencing in my
Mhm.
practice, which was like you don't have to know what's happening, the concepts, the cosmos, or anything. You're just simply an antenna. So
Mm.
allow. So really, this is what I was experiencing. Just like root yourself really into the center of the earth and into the center of the cosmos and
Mhm.
just like open up, soften
Mm.
into that knowing that you're supported both by earth and by the celestial cosmic energy, and just like let whatever needs to come through without resistance, come
Mm.
through you, because essentially we're just here as instruments, right?
Mhm.
we just get like all clogged up, and what we want to do is like just open, let receive life, let it move through you. um, don't like really. And I think that I was experiencing that because of calls that I've been having this week of um, with clients, similar conversations of holding on um, to personal shame, just like,
Mm.
okay, I didn't commit to my things this week, and and
Mm.
uh and so just having that like guilt kind of thing. It's just like it's okay, just like feel it and pass it on, let it move, let
Yeah,
it move. So maybe
yeah,
that's why that was coming through.
yeah, yeah. Does that still come around every now and then, that kind of those kind of guilt and shame frequencies when it comes to things that you do?
Yeah, so I do psycho-spiritual coaching. I work with a
Yeah,
system called Psychosynthesis, and
yeah.
it's something very big. Yeah, and it's been a lot of my journey, right? So
Hmm.
we are always bringing people into our sphere um, that are mirrors to us,
Yeah.
and ideally those are the people that I like to work with, people who are doing a challenge that I have been able to with the great guidance from above and great guidance of spiritual guides here on earth, have been able to remove blockages to remember, you know, to literally to remember, to be, to become part of it again, you know. And so yeah, so that's really what I'm here doing right now again. It's just like, you know, helping that process, helping us to remember.
Yeah, yeah.
Helping
And
myself in the process, right? Because I forget all the time too. It's just like, okay, hold on. Practice what I preach.
and I'm so fascinated by that, Sandra. You know, I've heard of course, you know, spiritual coaches, but I haven't heard of a psycho spiritual coach, and wondering what the specific difference and what is the process of psychosynthesis? Like, how does it work?
Yeah. So psychosynthesis is, it's really a magnificent system that was created by a guy in the 1920s called Roberto Asciagioli. And he really is the pioneer of transpersonal psychology and whatever, all these names, positive psychology, all the seeds come really from there. What psychosynthesis really focuses on is on blending in Western science as we know it, like psychoanalysis, but without disregarding the importance of we are a soul. It's where there's nothing to fix. There is a potential genius that we can tap into and synthesize and infuse into our personality. Essentially, our personality is just a mirror of our soul, right? A reflection of our soul. It's just that that mirror gets clouded and shady, and you know, and so and it really is a yogic way of looking at it, that through this practices we're removing the illusions so that the reflection can be pure. And so the difference of psychosynthesis to therapy per se is that I am more interested in connecting people to their potential than in just healing trauma and that being the focus.
Okay.
Right. So when you're working towards the potential, there will always be trauma that needs to be integrated. There will always be things that needs to come into center and allowed and acknowledged and loved and received. So we work on that too. But it's always from where am I going next, right? Because it's just I also teach yoga, and something that we say in yoga all the time is like, if you don't know where you're going, literally, physically with my body, if you're not looking at where you're going, you can't make it. You can't hop forward. You can't put your, you know. So it's
Right.
always like that drishti, that having the vision so clear, and allowing our psychological functions as imagination, as intuition, that maybe other practices don't honor as much, right? Like we have this ability to imagine better, which is really what makes us different than our brothers and sisters of other animal kind, you know, in the planet, which is like I have the awareness to know myself, see the separation and imagine better. Right? It's also like why there's so much suffering, because it's like, oh my God, I'm separate from this all, and there's the othering, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's a little bit. I went on a tangent like I often do.
Oh no, thank you. No, thank you for that breakdown, Sandra. You know, I love how you really get into it. You know, you really bring it out and bring the richness. It's like something you said really sparked something within me. I got excited because, you know, it's kind of like archery. You know, when you're drawing the bow and you're shooting the arrow, they say if you aim at nothing, you hit nothing. You know, like what are you aiming at? Where are you going? What direction are you headed? What is your target?
Yeah.
You know, and
exactly.
it's say again.
I just said exactly. Yeah.
And going along with the theme of our potential, you know, I feel like we have a limitless, boundless potential for growth. And to allow somebody to come into that inner realization and kind of the inner genius within them that's within everyone. You know, Albert Einstein talked about everyone is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will grow up its whole life thinking it's stupid, you know, thinking it's an idiot.
So simple, but yeah, it's amazing. It's making me think about a quote that I was listening to the other day. I was cracking up. Alan Watts was saying how sometimes we want to force feed people to think how we think, you know? And it's just like, because we think like whatever, like our way of looking at life, our truth is all the truth that should be fine for everybody else. And he says it's like the monkey helping a fish to go, you know, helping a fish up the tree so he doesn't drown.
Exactly. Oh man, it's so simple. It's so simple.
Yeah.
So you're assisting and you're facilitating and you're helping people to tap into the genius that lies within them.
I don't like the word help because I feel I support. You know,
Support.
I'm not interested in helping anybody. I'm not you know,
you're not holding their hand.
I'm here by your side, and I'm here doing my work too. You know, like I'm still dealing. I've been on this journey on my healing journey for more than a decade. Like really dedicated to my practice, and you know, it's just like you're like I definitely check that off. I definitely check that off, but it's just like the spiral of life, and just like the healthy tension that we feel as normal healthy people, that especially when you have a vision, like you know what can be better, right? So just like making those that conscious creation, so much fear comes up, so much stuff comes up, the same traumas that I had, you know, that I've worked on keep, you know, moving up into the surface every time that I make a leap, every time that I make a change, every time that I want to step forward. So it gives me this beautiful framework to support other people, that I keep doing my work. Like you're good. You know, it's just like that's natural. Like you should not feel comfortable. It doesn't feel comfortable. So yeah, as I guide people, as I support people, I'm with them the whole way, you know, and I really see, and I'm not interested in having like any like, you know, looking up at experience from the person I'm working with, but really I'm your sister, and I'm your, you know, I'm doing this with you, and yeah, I've been very grateful to have amazing mentors in my life, and to have a desire to learn, a desire to really, my mentors also have been many beautiful books and writers, you know, and I'm passionate about not just knowledge, but experimental knowledge, right? Like putting it into action and seeing what works and what doesn't. And ideally, that's what I want to pass on. Like try it out, you know, but it's not law. Like if it doesn't work for you, and really, I guess, and maybe that's something to really share in our conversation, right? Your potential is your potential. Like you're not here to go into any space with any guide, with any teacher, with any doctor, with anybody, and trust that what they're saying to you is what's right for you. So I'm interested in sovereignty, and from the beginning, activating the will in people. And like, is this what, you know, so I just ask a bunch of questions, and I look really smart when I do it, because the people are coming back with their amazing answers, and I just say them back to them. You know, like, and they're like, wow, I'm just like, you said that.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, I love how people can often as well, you know, answer their own questions. You know, if you hear somebody talk enough, they start answering their own questions.
Yeah, and so really, I'm really good at just holding space, and I like to. I've been an actor. I'm a trained actor. I've been an actor for a long time, and I really like to, when I'm breaking script. When I have been breaking script in the past, I'm not acting now per se. I'll tell you a little bit about what I'm doing, including acting, in a little bit.
Okay.
But I love script analysis, right? So I love to investigate. So I'm always looking for like, just like, you know, just feeling like a little spy. I just, you know, so just asking, putting those questions there, it's really like creating space. Like what's coming to my mind right now, it's like his joint work, right? It's like when you create space in the body, there's no pain. And so just having that separation, and giving people the openness to create a little bit of separation from what they think they are to, it's just an experience, right? And how can you look at it from another point of perspective? It's just like, it's just refreshing. You know, it's
Right.
refreshing to be able to know, like, we're not our problems, we're not our thoughts, we're not our emotions, we're not our sensations. We are the witness, the observer. We are the coordinator of all these different things, right? And so developing the skill of being able to guide ourselves through it, it's like what we should master, what we can really benefit from mastering here.
I love that. I love that, Sandra. Developing the skill to guide ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Uncoupling ourselves from all these things, like unidentifying, you know, our identification that we've placed on these things. And I didn't even know that you're a fellow thespian.
I'm a fellow thespian. Yeah, I'm actually. I moved out of New York, and one of the reasons why I stayed in New York so long was just like, you know, because it's the mind of an actor. I'm never gonna act if I don't live in New York or whatever. And then I started to just feel extremely depleted with the lifestyle. You know, I was just like, this is not. And I was teaching yoga, and I was like survival job, and so then I went into like training, deep training for. I have been studying Eastern philosophy for a while, and what's really beautiful is that I was a yogi and an actor, and the whole time I'm like struggling. How do I bring them together, right? The forever, like, how do I bring these two parts of myself together? Because I really wasn't growing so much as an actor because I wasn't all in. I was like, I had all this other training, all this other life that I needed to explore. My soul needed it so much. I was in my trainings also. I was in my classes. I was teaching. I was working, and the same with yoga, right? It's just like I couldn't give up acting for, you know, just like it was. I needed to be in rehearsals. I needed to be putting plays together. I needed to be auditioning. I needed to be doing both. And an acting is like the study of embodiment, the study of conscious expression, right? The study of out there embodiment. And Eastern philosophy, yogic practices are the study of self as soul, the study of like, who am I beyond these concepts, right? Who am I beyond the roles that I play? And so finding psychosynthesis, which was incredible for me because it was the synthesis of outer expression, right, which is Western science, and inner study of self, which is Eastern philosophy. And so it's just like, so it went from having the need to be on stage to really becoming the stage. But I'm in it, you know. It's like I'm in it, and I'm loving it. So now bringing it back to like, I wanted to share with you what I'm doing is that I'm creating these workshops here in Miami at the Center for Higher Self, for the Higher Self, where I'm incorporating their psychospiritual development workshops, where I'm incorporating acting as a way to uncover different parts of our personality. You know? So it's been beautiful. It's been a wonderful exploration of like bringing it back.
Wow. So you were looking for an answer to try and fit it all together with the yoga and the acting, and you're on stage and you're doing all these things, and you're saying that psychosynthesis, that's what brought it all together.
Yeah, it's the synthesis, right? Because ideally, and really this is one of the biggest practice of psychosynthesis, which is like, it doesn't have to be this or that. It's like you are here with your uniqueness of soul that wants to express itself through your personality. So what brings you most alive? And it doesn't have to be what the people that you admire did, or the people whose qualities you find a great do, right? It's like, what are you gonna do with your unique expression of you? So it's not this or that, it's this and that. It's like the third space to create something new. And you know, and really that's a lot of the work I do with people. It's just like, what if you are just an incredible creator that can create something brand new, like, you know, and you can just express yourself, you know, and not have to give anything up, and not have to have the inner war so much, but just integration, you know, integration, like give voice to all your parts.
I love this. You're following your bliss. You know? I love this and that. Go ahead.
You know, it's like, and in following that, just like giving permission to subconsciously or consciously to other people to like, we don't have to follow, you know, like strict lines anymore.
Right.
Like we're a new breed of humans, you know, in a brand new world that keeps constantly changing. And we are part of the change that's happening right now. Like, you know, just as I am, as I understand myself as pure presence within me, I understand that I am a individualization of divine mind. And that divine mind is not just within me, it's also right here as a whole, right? And so it's we're part of this, and whatever changes happens in me, it's affecting the whole. Whatever change affects the whole is affecting myself, you know. So it's just like really understanding that whatever I dare to change, I'm having a say in how I'm changing the world, you know, or how the world is changing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. And I love, Sandra, that take on this and that. You know, when you said this and that, it reminded me of improv, because you're allowing yourself. Yeah.
Which is a workshop that I'm doing on Monday. It's called Tantric Theater, where we're going to be just playing around with a lot of sensorial, like full body embodiment, and you know, to balance out the polarities within us, and using a lot of improv games, because this and that. It's like you just, you know, you just build it, like build it. What's that like to actually build on conversation, to build in communication, to agree, to be in a yes environment, you know?
Yeah, like building with each other, building together, you know, coming in union with a common purpose, a common theme. And the yes and, that was something big when I took improv. I remember that you weren't supposed to say no or but, you know, it was a yes and. So you were given something by your partner, they would give you something, and you would say yes, and you would add something else. Yes, and you would add something else. And so that's like bringing out your inner child, like you're playing with life, you're allowing life to be a dance. I enjoy that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like yesterday we were dancing and I was just like, you know what? I'm in abundance. You know, it's like being in abundance. It's just being in that energy of like playful, receptive, active, giving and receiving. Like, you know, people think so much. It's like being in abundance can only mean just having a bunch amount of wealth. Well, for me, it's just like, great. I love wealth. I love money. Money's great. It's an amazing instrument, and it cannot possibly be felt like that. Like, you know, in the Upanishads, there's that beautiful quote that says, "You can take abundance out of abundance, and abundance still remains." You know, it's just like it's the sand, it's the drops in the ocean, it's the leaves on the trees, it's what you're made of. You know, it's just like. So just really changing that, what you said about that playful energy. It's just like, it's really like trusting that it's okay. It's okay that sometimes it's challenging, because like if there is no challenge, how do we grow? It's like, you know, so it's just like, what are you made out of? It's always an invitation, you know?
Right. Wow. Accepting the challenge, you know? Challenge accepted. What are you made of? Testing your metal, you know? I love that. I love that. It's, oh man.
No, I'm listening to you.
It's so explorative. It's so enjoyable to hear how adventurous you approach, you know, your approach. And it's like you're writing your story every day, a new chapter in your book of life. And earlier, Sandra, you talked about embodiment. And you have something unique I love on your page. You talk about embodying self-love, or being the embodiment of self-love. So in what ways do you seek to embody self-love in your life?
Yeah, so that really comes from how cheesy I find that people are just like, oh, self-love this, self-love that, and words are words. Sure, words have power, but words are just words. You know, it really takes, to me, what it takes is an act. Just because I'm an actor, you can't act self-love. You can act something like devotion, you know, like What about self-devotion, honoring with your actions, right? Showing yourself love with the actions that you take, with how you how present you are in your body, how you care for you. Because essentially, like, there's only, you are literally here to serve your soul. You're here to answer your soul. So when I say embody self-love, I wrote it with a capital S, meaning like embody soul love. Like, remember that, that there's a soul here, that you're here as this very condensed energy expressing the soul. And our work is to try to remember, how do I clear the fog, clear the noise, clear the distraction, so I can, allow it to be here, to have an infused, soul-infused personality, a soul-infused life. Because I feel like a lot of what we're feeling is like, I want to get out of, I want transcendence, and I want to do all these medicines, and I want to go travel, and I want to just leave all the time. And what we need to be doing, if we decided that we, as a soul, as a big whole soul of the universe, however you'd like to call it, we decided to have this human experience. Right? So we're here as this human experience, not because we wanted to come in and get out.
Yeah.
So our job is to descend instead of just transcend, right? It's like, great, we see the potential, but how do we land it? How do we ground that? Okay. So it's the action, so embodied self-love is like, it's not so much about what you say, it's about what you do and your practices. You can have all the knowledge about what self-love is. That does not mean, it's like having a map. If you have a map and it said you can pretty much see where Ohio or Delaware is, but that does not mean that you know the territory. You have to go there. You have to, like, be it.
Right.
You're not, you're not getting what you want. That's silly. You can have all the, how do they call them? The vision boards, all you want, whatever, but you're not going to get what you want. You get what you are.
Ooh. Yes.
You get what you give your attention to. You give what you entertain. With your actions, with your thoughts, with your vision. Essentially, that's what we're doing,
Wow. So love on a cellular level.
Yeah.
The self. I got you.
Oh, shit. So good. Cellular level. And on an active, grounded level, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. There's that laugh. I've been waiting for it.
So good.
Oh, my goodness.
So good.
Yeah. So, man, thank you for that breakdown. Thank you for clarifying that and, bringing that home, bringing that down to earth, that descension, descending. Because you're right. We always do think about an ascension, but what are we descending? What are we falling into? Falling into that self-love, that embodiment. So, there's a word that I hear you use a lot, Sandra, and I enjoy this word because we're both kind of students of Eastern philosophy. And when I think of the yin and yang, the Tai Chi symbol, the light and the dark, I think of the giving and then the receiving, the manifestation, but then the allowing. So there's a word you use, and you use it a lot. You talk about allowing, allowing things in, allowing things to come to pass. So is that sort of like the divine feminine in a way, that allowance?
I feel like allowing is more of like opening up the vessel.
Okay, opening up. Okay.
Just opening up the vessel and resisting nothing, right? And that means having the willingness to receive and having the zero resistance to give out. Right? So it's just like, it's some of us. Yesterday, I was with a beautiful human who was driving me, an incredible guy from Cuba, and he gave me this visual. He said, if you have an issue, if you have a problem, and you hold the glass of water, right? Say the glass of water is a problem. And if you have that problem and you're holding it, and it's just like, after 30 seconds, you just put it down. It's like the problem's, But if you try to carry the problem forever, it's like, you try to carry by 7 hours, it's going to be so heavy, even though there might be 2 ounces.
Yeah.
So like that allowing it means, to me, there's no resistance in receiving issues, anger, struggle, love, joy, pleasure, and there is no resistance in letting it go, letting it change, letting it move. There is no resistance in expressing what needs to come through me. There's no resistance in that either, right? So letting go of relationships, just allowing that the only thing that's here is change. It's almost the what I'm hearing is like hoarding. It's like we allow something in, and because it's like already identify with it, and it says something about who I am. It's just like, oh, and obviously we're doing most of this unconsciously, right? It's like I was told I was an angry kid, so now I'm an angry person, and I'm carrying anger, and now my body knows it, and now I just and it's just like, okay, but you can also just like take off the backpack, just allow it, it's
Allow.
a willingness, a willfulness to surrender, if that makes any sense.
So allowing a willful surrender to
a willful surrender.
A willful surrender. Wow. So, wow. I got visions while you were speaking, and you were painting pictures with your words so eloquently. I got visions of water, and how water, it has no resistance, like having no resistance, just allowing, just flowing. And kind of like to be in spirit is to be inspired. So you're allowing that to flow through you. The water, the air, you're allowing. And water can enter where there is no space because there's no resistance. And it can erode the hardest substance. It's the softest substance, but it can break down the hardest substance because there's no pushback, Yeah.
So although it flows and it flows and it flows, and it almost seems like it's harmless, it would always gain momentum. It gains momentum as it continues flowing. I understood in our journey, consciousness, just as water. The closest thing I could relate it to was water, that it will always move through to the place that there's no resistance. If the water sees a mountain of rocks, it's not going to stand in front of the rocks and say, I want you to move, I want you to. It's just going to keep rubbing it and going into the path of no resistance. But even the rocks, with its persistence, will give in, because the water is infinite, just like consciousness, right? It's infinite. So eventually, it's going to have its influence on the rocks. But essentially, that to me, it's how I really understood the energy that we are, which is it's trying to come through us all day. It's never left us. We just become clogged vessels with emotions, with holding on to parts of ourselves that we overly think we are, or holding on to things, holding on to behaviors that are not supportive of the calling of our soul, right? What we're here to do.
Yeah.
And so once we start to just like clear, right, do the yogic practices, do whatever we need to do, clear the mind, clear the emotions, clear our breath, just like open up. It's like all of a sudden we can move through us, consciousness can move through us.
Yes.
And then that feeling, yesterday I was watching this woman singing, and she was just having this experience singing, and she said, it just feels so good, because it's just like when we are doing this, it's like consciousness can move from one place to another. When we're singing, when we're creating art, when we're together in the spirit of growth, in the spirit of creation, it's just like, it just feels so good, because it's not just us. It's like it's not just the personality is higher, moving, expressing itself as us,
Right. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. It's like the transference of energy, consciousness moving through, from one to another. And wow, There's so much to unpack. Every time you speak, it's like I'm finding it's like there's so much in here.
Oh,
Oh
thank you.
man.
I hear the same as you speak. I was just like, yeah.
There's just so
It's
much.
like a lot of the things that you share. I'm just like, just like the sound of delight. Like I know that. It's like, yes.
Sandra, one of the things you shared earlier that you touched on was the example of if you have a map, just because you have a map doesn't mean you have a knowledge of the territory of the surrounding area. You have to actually go there to experience that. So when it comes to knowledge versus experience, where do you place your value? And I'd just love to hear your take on it, because there are differing opinions of knowing and what it means to know and what it
Yeah.
means to experience. Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like, so many of us, so many creatives and so many people who have decided to go on our journey and to really follow, what at times I'm sure felt like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, why didn't I listen to my parents? Why didn't I go the safe route? Why didn't, um, there might be, and I'll just speak for myself, there has been in me, uh, um, a felt sense that I didn't have enough accumulated knowledge, which
Hmm.
it's just like a pattern of my own conscious that I can witness now.
Mm-hmm.
That I didn't have the diplomas, I didn't have the things, I didn't have the high end schools or whatever, and to me, like, really now, as this person, this 34-year-old woman, that I can understand this role that I'm playing here, right? It's like that is very experimental. I can now know that you might have accumulated textbook knowledge, and that does not mean that is the same as having the visceral understanding of
Hmm.
what it is that it does for this vessel, of
Yeah.
like what is the experience, right? It's like you can't expect that something you read and never applied is the same as having birthed an experience into existence, or having accepted the life that's being offered to you because you said yes to something, yes to your soul, yes to this.
Hmm.
So for me, it's like walking the territory means, like, you know one of the things that's coming up to me is like, listen, we can look at all the books of self-growth and all the things. It's like great, you can read all the books, but unless you practice, unless
Hmm.
you show up for yourself, you don't gain it. You don't have it. It's not yours.
Hmm.
To make something yours, to know it, to transmute it into your own personality so that you can share it, you have to practice. And ideally, that's why we learn, right? So it can dribble down into our environment, so it can be passed on to our other generations, to our communities, right? So if there might be a lot of people who read.
Right.
I hope that you're applying it. I hope that you're practicing it. You can go to all the retreats.
Yeah.
you know you can do all the thing and have an amazing experience. You can do all the plant ceremony that you can. And if you go out there and if you come home and you come into the same exact rat race, the same exact behaviors, like, you're not grounding it. So, for me, the territory is to ground it. You
Hmm.
ground it into your beingness of an everyday, the decisive expression of who you are now with your actions. And
Yeah.
most of the time, they're probably in the beginning not feel like comfortable.
Yeah. 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 I like that. Who you are with your actions. It reminds me, it's like there's a saying that action is the true measure of intelligence.
Mm,
You know, it's like that, what you speak of application, the applied knowledge,
mm,
not the implied knowledge, but the applied knowledge.
yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
putting it into practice. Yeah. In
yeah,
every area of your life.
yeah. It's like we can have all the advice we want, and here we are following the advice of other people, like a crazy little, going to whatever, getting advice. What do you think we should do? Tell your best friend. What do you think I should do? And it's like, okay, why don't you practice some things instead of you know, and we all do this, like some, um, that if you practice and you get to, and whatever that practice is, right? It could be like a creative practice, but you said you were honoring your word. I think that that's the most important thing. Whenever you decide to practice and you show up to honor that word on a consistent basis, it allows you to start to trust that inner guidance, because self-trust is in your guts, you know, and your intuition is in your guts.
Woo!
You know? And you feel it, and so you can start feeling like, this feels out of alignment, that doesn't go with my values, that feels soft and relaxed and okay and scary, but I can start to, you know, I can start to know that maybe fear is not, you know, that it's not the opposite of love, and maybe the fear sometimes is an expression of love, and I can start to move that way, you know. It's like, it's showing me what I love. And so it's really like, what the application of practices is what allows us to be more of who we are, instead of the roles that we've been told to play.
Ashe on that. Oh my gosh. So it's like they're not always opposing, you know, fear and love. One could be an expression of the other. I love this. This is what I'm talking about.
I didn't come up with that. I didn't come up with that. That was Neil Donald Walsh is a writer that I really love a lot. If anybody is here interested in his work, he's really wonderful. But he brought it up to me, and that to me, it's just like, wow, yeah, because, you know, spiritual community, we hear all the time, like, you know, fear is the opposite of love, and
this or that.
It's this or that, and it was like, yes. And so to really start thinking about, like, fear is just pointing you for what you really love, you know. It's just showing you what's really important to you, and so so you're just like, okay, so I don't have to run. I could just hold the intensity and keep taking little baby steps, because I care, you know, because I love. And what's coming to me is like, we love, right? We love, and we start thinking about discipline, which is what requires us to show up on a consistent basis. Comes from the root word disciple, right? And disciple, the Latin word that eventually became a follower of Jesus. Like, we follow something because we love it. Right? And that love can be self with a capital S love. I love soul. I love beauty. I love growth. I love anything that breathes breath into existence. You know, it's like, okay, I can do it for that, and I'm feeling that in myself. And
wow, so much love. You see what I did there?
So much love.
So much love. So, oh my gosh. So this is like, fear is a compass. It's pointing us.
I've never said it as good as you just said it, but yes. Yes. Fear is perfectly described as like, let fear be your compass. Can we write a book about that? Like, let fear be your compass. Okay, I'm gonna write that down. Wow.
We can do anything, Sandra. Oh my goodness, I love this. This is what I'm talking about, you know. And I love what you touched on when you talked about those gut feelings. You know, that intuition. You said self-intuition is in your guts. It's in your guts. You know, when you speak, you got that passion, you know, you got that fire. Like, yo, it's something visceral. It's in the guts.
That's why we need to embody whatever we're doing, embody our words, embody our love to self, embody, because this amazing vehicle of consciousness, you know, it's really telling us. You know, sometimes we hear so much like, the body is just a vehicle. I've been experiencing that if we really are all one, right, then possibly the body is just the soul at its most material. And the body has intelligence. It's like the most incredible machine ever created. I mean, hello. And it's a little micro expression of cosmos right here with all this information. And if I can learn to drive this beautiful gift of creation, you know, this is like by listening, by pausing, by being, by dropping into presence, by showing up, you know. That's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It really is, truly. You know, a micro expression of the cosmos, the microcosm of the macrocosm. You know,
Yeah.
when you say it like that, how can you not feel abundant? You know, how can you not feel infinite? Yeah.
Yeah, it really is a miracle to live life with that, and you know, it's not like all day I live like a unicorn, like unicorns and rainbows. Like I lean into my anger, I lean into my discomfort, I lean into it for the same reason that I have this beautiful vehicle that needs to be cleansed, and so if there's a strong feeling coming through me, I have to find a healthy way of expressing it. You know, so, and in a healthy environment, and maybe not snapping at anybody, but it needs to be felt so that it doesn't clog the antenna that I am. You know, whether that's journaling, dancing, you know, going for a kickboxing class, you know, writing, you know, writing horrible letters that I will never send, you know, whatever it is. But like this body needs expression. Our life needs expression. We're here to express. And so just respecting that there is no separation of like my body is lesser, the needs of my body don't matter. Like no, actually, like we should be satisfying and having pleasure and finding the joy of scent and finding the joy of texture and finding the joy in food and water. You know, it's like if you start to create the practice of like being a connoisseur of water, you become so sensitive. You know, anywhere you go, like really taste the water. Just like that little practice of the sensibility of our ability to be more and more sensitive, which is essentially what yoga does to you. You know, practicing yoga continuously.
Yeah, heightening our sensitivity.
Yeah, we become very sensitive about what's happening in here. What's happening in here. You know?
Wow. Sandra, you're psychic. You know that, right?
I'm a little witch.
You know that, right?
Yeah, I actually something that I have a puppy that I adopted about 3 months ago, and about a year before that, I had the vision that he was coming into my life. And so it's really funny. I told my partner, I was like, we're gonna get this dog. He's gonna have these colors. He's gonna look just like this, and he's just like, honey, you're you know, sure, honey, yeah, sure. And I told Kimmy, I was like, Kimmy, I just, you know, I have a dog that's gonna come to me the same way my other dog did. Like, it's just gonna need a home. And a year later, my mom shows me a photo of the pup in the worst time ever, because I'm like at the ER with my other dog. She's about to pass. I'm thinking she's gonna pass because it was really bad. And I'm like, that's my dog. She's like, he needs a home. I'm like, that's my dog. I knew it, and I just like, yeah. And I feel like we're all psychic, you know. And I just want to put that out there. Like we're all psychic, and when you start to really allowing yourself to have, to spend time entertaining your visions, and to spend time opening up to the possibilities of what sense. And I really feel that all you start seeing and creating in your mind's eye, it's not just imagination per se. I feel that it's more precognition, you know? It's like you're just in a different, you're allowing yourself to experience something that is not in this reality, but who is sending those images to you? Like, where are they coming from? We're all psychic.
Wow. So that we're all psychic, it's like different degrees of sensitivity, you know?
Yeah, I think so.
Allowing yourself allowing yourself to receive or experience the precognition, entertaining your visions, as you say. You're saying this is hitting everybody. Everybody has this within them. It's all innate within us.
Yeah.
That we just have to tap in. Yeah.
Yeah. But we spend more time, unfortunately, most of us, we spend more time in entertaining stories from the past that are validating our victimhood story, that are validating why we are not ready enough, or we're not grown enough, or we haven't done enough. So, and we're not doing that consciously. It's just on a replay record that's there. And so our practices, whatever they might be, of showing up on a consistent basis, they allow us to make new stories, right? They allow us to create new programs, to plant seeds in the unconscious. Because we decide on them and we show up on a consistent basis, we start to, in a way, create memories of the future. And so, okay, I'm showing up for this practice because this means this is in alignment with who I choose to be. So then it's all of a sudden like, we're planting seeds in our unconscious of who we are choosing to be in an embodied conscious expression, if that makes any sense.
No, it does. It does. And it brings to mind a question that I had earlier, but we got off on a wonderful exploration of consciousness. If you could only have one practice for the rest of your life, what would you choose?
So right away I heard meditation, but I would even take it more into a subtle, more able, more attainable in any circumstance, which is presence, right? And there's no presence without breath. So just being able to hold the intensity of any moment without being reactive and taking life in, whether it's that in front of a tree, in a train, in a dance, with a book, with my partner, just like the openness, the expansion of time through presence.
So presence, just openness, being open, being expanded, that flows, that bleeds into everything.
Yeah, so it's like you ideally, and really what meditation is, just a tool to help you do that, live at that level, right? It's just like, if you could just have a bifocal vision all the time of what's happening inside of myself, my sensations, and at the same time I'm able to receive what's happening in life in front of me. And I can continue that inhale and exhale, receiving and allowing and giving out, the sharing of life, right? Sharing of life with a plant, sharing of life with a fruit, just being with it, looking at the little wrinkles in the hands of your beloved, It's just like, just really like opening up into the experience of this present moment awareness. And it's something that people who are close to nature are more attuned to do, or we as humans, right? If they take off the noise and the phone, we have a tendency to be more of that in places of beauty, or in the presence of birth, or in a moment of union. It's like all of a sudden we have like, wow, time stops, and you have this like communal silence of agreement. It's just like, because it's beautiful. And so we can do that, we can induce that all the time simply by pausing. That could be just like in front of my meal, in front of this morning when my feet touch the floor. It's like, we're alive. It's just like so I think that practice of like and what I'm doing now, which is the words that I heard when I decided to start doing in-person workshops, was that the importance of experimental presence. That it's just one thing for people to say, like, come into the present moment. Come into the present moment, okay, but how? And so I'm interested in exploring how.
Right.
And we'll go back to, and I'll take you back to what we were just saying. This vehicle of consciousness is the best way to feel the now. Our breath, our senses, our body, touch, you know, what's happening inside, sound, taste. It's like, you know, it's right here.
You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. It's like there are times when we have to lose our mind and come to our senses. You know, like you said, tapping back in.
Yes.
Because the mind can be everywhere all at once. It likes to be, you know, it's like it's in the past, it's in the future, it's in everywhere but the here and now. And you say it could be just so simple, so as easy as just coming back to your breath, to the smell, to the sounds, to the sight of what's in front of you, in front of your plate. Like, it sounds like you practice like mindful eating, or just finding little pockets in your day to practice. Yeah.
And essentially, like, you practice little pockets, you practice little pockets, you practice little pockets until it becomes a habit. You know, so that every time you look at a new person, the person in the elevator, you're doing that thing, and you're maybe not pausing, but you're in that spaciousness that you're creating of, like, it's beyond the surface, right? It's like, I see you beyond the surface. I see this apple as beyond the surface. I can look at this apple, and because I have this habit of, like, knowing, like, I could really value, you know, who brought it to the truck, and who watered the tree, and just like, you know, it's like, maybe this is a little out there, but I'm sure not around you, but that, you know, it's just like this ability to look at life more objectively, because we can step back. It's, the willingness
to see the whole
fall
picture.
In love with it.
Yeah. And you're able to see the whole picture. Like you said, where the apple came from, you know, the whole process, like all the hands that it passed through to get to you, you know? Yeah. It's like holistic.
It's like back again, or it's like consciousness, you know? It's like one of my mentors always said, it's like the beauty of you is that you are just an acorn, but an acorn has all the potential to become an oak tree. And an oak tree has all the potential to become the forest.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. We have all the potential. All of us. Yeah. Each and every one of us. Thank you for illustrating that so beautifully. You know, has anybody ever been impacted or even surprised or shocked by your level of presence? Like, that you've given somebody the gift of your presence, so to speak, and they've kind of been like, wow, you know?
I hope so.
Well, I guess you were too present to notice. You know, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. If you didn't notice, that means you were being mindful. You know,
I was enjoying their presence. You know, and I really celebrate people's presence, and I make sure to make that a point to always share how grateful I am for that. Right, the presence within you. And yeah, I think that it's something so beautiful to tap in. Like, presence and spaciousness within you. So I love me in you. You know,
me and you. Not back to the yes and. So yes, Sandra, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your presence. You know, thank you for sharing your love, sharing your enthusiasm, sharing your wonderful journey, sharing your insights. These are so powerful, so tasty, so scrumptious. I'm definitely going to be going back and writing some things down and just enjoying this. And thank you for everyone else who joined as well. We had a lot of fun. Oh, even Kimberly on here. Oh, and you didn't even know I saw you. Oh, look at it.
Oh, hi, Kimberly. Yeah, I was reading it. Yeah, she said,
what? I noticed you in the market. Oh, really? Interesting. Was this in Miami? I was in the Coconut Grove. Was that the market? Maybe. She said she noticed me. Okay. All right, Kimberly, we'll talk about that. But Sandra, thank you. Thank you for being here. You know, half of Happy Hour community. Appreciate all that you do for us, all that you do for yourself, and everything that you do affects the collective. Definitely would love to learn just before we, you know, grow our separate ways and head to the
Love
next
that. Grow
venture.
our separate ways. Yeah.
I can't with you. What are the services that you provide? Because I know you do the psychosynthesis coaching and also yoga as well. So where can people find you? Where would you like people to come and find you for your services?
Yeah, you can come to my website at Sandra Tru, TRU, underscore. I mean, this is my IG, so Sandra TRU underscore, and my website is just the same, sandratru.com. And yeah, I support people working one-on-one. Most of my I have a package that's called the Conscious Creator Experience, and it's a 3 months journey, and we're making big leaps into potential and landing, descending embodiment. And it's a really powerful program for the people that I work with. I also work one-on-one, a little bit less intense, for a month package, and private packages of yoga. If you're in Miami, I teach once a week now, because most of my work is in coaching, and I'm doing amazing workshops here in Miami. So yeah, if you're around here, let me know. I'd love to share with you all the fun things that we're doing. And probably we'll do a mastermind close to a couple months for now. So if that's something that interests you, just stay connected, share your story. I'm really interested in learning about you as well, and your community, and anybody that has any questions. I'm there, I'm present, and I love people. I love connecting, especially if we're on this vibe. You know, so here is a good resource too, as we spoke. You know, we're like, I eat books and I implement a lot of stuff. So if you need a resource, just stay connected.
Yeah, that'll be definitely something I would love to dive into with you next time.
Same with you. Yes, like, what you're reading, what's on your nightstand.
Yes. It was so, oh man. So yes, you have so many things on the horizon. It sounds like this is a lot more in store for the people. So leaps and bounds. I love it.
You know what? And this is what I'm doing today. I might be a rock star in tomorrow's expression. It's like, that's it, right? It's just like, I'm a shapeshifter, and like I ideally want everybody to experience that you don't have to be married to what you're doing right now. What you do is not who you are. Right? But ideally, you're doing something that's speaking and singing to the expression of your soul, and you're following that and listening to that above all, you know. Yeah.
All right. Well, much love to you, Sandra Tru.
Jerome, thank you for this. So much love for you and your community and all the work that you're putting out there.
Blessings. It's reciprocal. We're just reflecting. So we'll see you again. And yeah, I trust that where you go from here, that everything will be blessed. Everything is working out in your favor. And I'm just claiming it. I'm claiming it, that
I receive.
All is working. Yeah.
Same.
Much love. Take care.
So much love, everybody. Bye.
Awesome. Wow. What a wonderful session. Yeah. I'm fired up right now. Are you?